Going to set some colors here. So we're going to use blue. This will be our basement membrane. Okay. And we'll use, let's say, green. This will be the actual cell in our picture. So let's start with the basement membrane. So let's start with the basement membrane, and we're going to look at one organ in particular for pseudostratified epithelium. So pseudo generally refers to something that is false or pretending to be. So pseudo seizures are people that are producing the looks of a seizure but are actually not seizing at that moment in time. So this looks like pseudostratified. So it looks like stratified, meaning we have layers, more than one layer, epithelium, when in fact it's not. So let's look at this in the context of the bladder. So we'll say in one picture your bladder is full and stretched out, and in the other it's relaxed. So let's say that on the relaxed side, the bladder is been just recently emptied, and so all the tissue in it has shrunken down to its kind of void state. And in the full area, we'll find that the tissue has been stretched out to accommodate the larger volumes. And that's an important concept because that's essentially what's happening. So we have our basement membrane right here on both sides for our bladder. So let's look at the difference when we're talking just about the cells. So it's pseudostratified because it appears to have multiple layers, and it's got one layer in total. But the reason that it looks like it has multiple layers is because as it's relaxed, we're going to have a cell here, maybe a cell here, and then this cell, and we'll say this cell, are all appearing to be another layer, but in fact each one of them has distinct nuclei, so they're individual cells. But when it's stretched out, then we end up with the cells looking like one layer. So let's kind of highlight what happens in between. I'm going to label our cells here. And we need one more. 6. There we go. So while it's bundled up, these other cells are going to basically pinch the cell that's sticking out at the top to look like it's attached and sitting on top of. But as we're stretching, so let's say we've got kind of an intermediary. We've got this. We've got cell number 2. And cell number 3 now is really small, and then it will widen as it stretches to accommodate the urine that's accumulating in the bladder. So that's pseudostratified epithelial tissue. It appears to look like it has multiple layers, but that's because they're bunched up when it's relaxed. But once it's stretched out, you can see it's only one layer thickness of tissue. So then it would truly be, when stretched out, it's appearing, in this case, to be simple cuboidal or columnar. But pseudostratified gives us the idea that it's basically going to look stratified when relaxed, but is this other type when stretched.